Today's readings are Genesis 1, verses 1 and 2 and 4, Corinthians 13, verses 11 to 13, and the Gospel is Matthew 28, verses 16 to 20. You can pause here this video and read the chapters for yourself, or continue watching and believing in what I'm saying. Dear brothers, sisters and friends, last week in the early hours of the morning, probably around 6:15, I found myself on the beach as the day was still gently forming itself. I had already completed my morning prayers as I always do, like at 5ish, and then I carried that silence of prayer with me as I stepped into the open air. I was wearing my habit, not as a statement, but simply as a way of being visible, as a brother amongst others, being present, available and recognizable in the quietness of ordinary life. People who know me know that I've gone there, as I often do, to pick up what has been left behind. At all the small remnants of human passing, trash scattered by locals and tourists alike, and there's something deeply reverent about this act for me. It is like a way of participating in the care of creation, I think. Of honoring what God has already called good by refusing to leave it neglected. In a simple sense, it is cleaning, but in a deeper sense, friends, it becomes a form of glorifying creation through attention and of service. As I moved along the shoreline, or the beach line actually, the work gradually drew me into a different interior rhythm. The mind, in a way, becomes quiet. It doesn't become empty, but simplified. There's a kind of meditative stillness that emerges, where thought no longer dominates, and attention narrows gently into what is directly before you, namely cigarette butts half buried in the sand, left small juice packets caught in some drift, washed ashore, empty bottles, pieces of plastic and glass, discarded wrappers, broken toys, shaped by tide and time. And in that attentiveness, sometimes something subtle begins to happen inside. The world stops appearing as chaos and starts revealing a hidden order. Not because the objects themselves change, but because my perception softens. There's a light, almost audible rhythm to it. Breathe, movement, step, bend, lift, put it away, and it begins to feel like a quiet liturgy unfolding without words, as if creation itself is breathing in measured cadence beneath the noise of what has been left behind. And in that narrow space, even the most overlooked details become part of a larger awareness. The act of gathering and restoring becomes less about effort and more about participating. Participating and participation is a goodness that is already present, waiting beneath neglect to see again. In the beginning, God speaks. And what is spoken does not compete or strain. It simply becomes into being. Genesis 1, creation of the world, verses 1 and 2 and 4, it does not open with the human effort, but with divine generosity. Light, order, rhythm, breath, and blessing unfolding like a liturgy older than language itself. The world is not hurried into existence. It's not forced or fragmented. It is given time, day by day by day, and God declares goodness over what is formed, until creation itself becomes a testimony that existence is not an accident, but an invitation. And where God rests, when He rests, it's not a withdrawal from exhaustion, but it's the fullness of completion, a rest that blesses rather than escapes. a rest that sanctifies time and invites creation to live without anxiety. Yet, humanity often forgets this original rhythm. The human heart becomes restless, scattering itself across noise, urgencies, the illusion of control. And against this restlessness stands the ancient witness of scripture and tradition, calling us back to what is essential. Psalm 8 asks with reverent astonishment, "What are human beings that you are mindful of them?" Wow. This is not a question seeking information, but of wonder. We humans, we are small, yet remembered. We are dust, yet crowned with dignity. Creatures of limitation, yet entrusted with meaning. The psalm refuses both arrogance and despair. Instead, it teaches a contemplative humility, where the human being is neither God nor nothing, but it's held in a mystery that is already full of grace. And this is where the desert begins, dear brothers, dear sisters, dear friends. Not as a geography alone, but as a spiritual clarity. The desert tradition, carried through the wisdom of the Desert Fathers and our patron, John Cassian, teaches that truth becomes visible when distraction falls away. Our way of life stands within this lineage as a quiet invitation into silence, into prayer, into presence, into service. But most important, into the transformation of ordinary life into hidden liturgy. Silence is not emptiness, but purification. And in this very silence, the soul ceases its performance before the world and begins to listen for what is already speaking beneath all things. Then prayer then arises not as an obligation, but it's like an alignment. Breath synchronized with God's hidden presence. Attention returned in the one who first gave attention to creation. In Corinthians, the apostle offers not merely instruction, but he offers an atmosphere. Rejoice, he says, aim for restoration, agree with one another, live in peace. And then the benediction unfolds like a dwelling place rather than a sentence. The grace of Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit. Wow. This is not an abstract theology. It's the environment of Christian existence. Grace is not an idea, but a climate. Love is not a distant sentiment, but a sustaining reality. Fellowship, brotherhood, agape is not organization, but shared participation in divine life. And this way of life calls this awareness to live within the atmosphere of God rather than outside it, to recognize that peace is not achieved through control, but received through attention. Presence becomes the discipline that holds all of this together. But the present is to resist fragmentation, to stand where one is without fleeing inward or outward, to see others without turning them into interruptions or instruments. Dear friends, presence is humility made visible in time. It is the refusal to abandon the moment God has already filled. And in presence, even the smallest and simplest acts like walking, washing, listening, picking up dirt from the floor becomes weighty with meaning. Not because it is made dramatic, but because it is finally received as real. Then the Gospel of Matthew brings us to the mountain in Galilee. The disciples worship, and of course some doubt, and both are held within the same scene without rejection. because Jesus is inclusive. He likes to gather people. And Jesus does not demand emotional uniformity before speaking, but he speaks into the mixture of certainty and of uncertainty alike. And he says, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me, he says. And then he sends them, go make disciples, baptize, teach, and remember, I'm there always with you. This is not only a commission of the expansion, but of presence carried into movement. Feel the paradox? The disciples are not sent away from God, but sent while remaining with him. The promise is not conditional nor on clarity, but anchored in companionship. I am with you always. And so the desert is carried outward. Our way of life understands this movement as the transformation of ordinary life into monastic awareness. The desert is no longer a distant place, but it is a way of seeing, a meeting place with God. And it appears wherever illusion thins and attention becomes honest. Silence becomes possible not only in solitude, but also in crowded streets, on the beach, and parties. And prayer becomes possible not only in chapels, but in breath and labor. Presence becomes possible not only in retreat, but in conversation. Service becomes the hidden form of love that does not announce itself. Friends, service in this way is not secondary to contemplation, but it is its fruit. To serve is not to participate in the goodness already spoken over creation. It may appear as cleaning what others overlook, as walking through public spaces with care rather than indifference, as listening to a human life without judgment or interruption. These are not small acts, friends. These are not small acts in a spiritual sense. They are the incarnation of attention. They reveal that nothing is too ordinary to be touched by reverence. This way of life lives from this hidden logic. Silence that purifies, prayer that aligns, a presence that grounds, service that expresses, and a desert tradition embodied in ordinary life. It is not a performance of spirituality, but a quiet participation in what already is. It is the refusal to separate the sacred from the real. It is the slow recognition that God is not absent from the world's simplicity, but most often encountered exactly there. And so the invitation remains, not shouted but offered in quiet continuity. The restless heart is not rejected, it is guided. The anxious mind is not shamed, it is gently returned. The distracted life is not condemned, it is invited into attention. For the same God who said, "Let there be light," is still speaking, not in spectacle, but in the steady illumination of reality itself. And the same Christ who sent his disciples into the world also promises that his presence within it will guide them. And the same Spirit who is called fellowship remains the unseen bond between all things in a world filled with noise. Many hearts long for silence. This way of life follows the wisdom of the Desert Fathers and John Cassian. A way of prayer, humility, simplicity, and purity of heart. And, friends, in that way, even the ordinary becomes a place of encounter. And even the smallest acts become a doorway to peace, a peace that remains. Peace be with you.